Hi, I'm Jerry Floren. I'm sitting at the kitchen table with my son Reed, and I probably should be eating crow here because I was concerned. After he graduated from high school, he decided not to go to college, and that wasn't what our family expected. Reed first started making money on the internet in 1999 when he was in the 7th grade, and he's tried a variety of internet ventures through the year. Would you mind just telling a little bit about what some of those have been?
Sure, Dad. I did a lot of different things online. The first thing I did online was called alladvantage.com, and you remember that.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, we made 50 cents an hour. That was
yeah,
great.
you were involved under me. It was basically a thing where you had a banner advertisement on the bottom of your screen. You got paid 50 cents an hour for every hour you were on the internet. Then you had this banner showing up, and then you got, I think it was 10 cents an hour for someone underneath you. It was kind of like an MLM thing. It kept going on down like 5 levels. And then you were on, Mom was on. I was acting in a college play at the time. This was back in 7th grade. And I signed up a bunch of college students under me. I tried to get my school signed up under me.
I remember that. That didn't work out too well. The lawyer
No.
we had to see for the school was not very cooperative.
No, the lawyer for the school didn't quite get it. But
I remember his comment. They had one computer in the office, and he said you had to plug it in.
yeah, when we heard that comment, we knew it was done. So we couldn't do anything with that. I've done other things, like I've listed books on Amazon. Not books I've written, but books that I had rights to. And they were like digital products that I put on Amazon. And I get some money. Not a whole lot. I mean, there's some months I get like $5 or $10 from it. But I set it up once, and I keep making money. I set this up maybe a year and a half ago or so, and I've gotten deposits as big as a few $100s from it for, you know, just having it up there not doing anything, which is nice. I mean, that's a car payment if you want. You know, it's a decent car. I've done eBay.
I remember that.
I've done a bunch of like information products that I listed on eBay, and I didn't really know that I should be building my list at the time, but I sold a bunch of products on eBay for like 99 cents, and we're just kind of getting experience. I made some money, and you know, knowing what I know now about lists, it's not a bad way to build a list, because you're getting someone who buys something. They're probably more of a bargain seeker because they're shopping on eBay, but they still bought something and they opted into your list, which is nice. I've done a bunch of other things, like I had a stock market forum, reedfloren.com.
I sure remember that. That was wonderful.
Definitely, that got a lot of attention, both locally and internationally.
You got it. In fact, that was ranked #1 on a lot of search engines for the search stock market forum.
Yeah, I was #1 on Google, Yahoo, MSN, and a bunch of other search engines. I've been featured in magazines, front page of newspapers, in books, been on the radio, a bunch of different things because of that site, because of things I've done. I've been featured in various educational things, like the Department of Education wrote a story about me. Things like that most people haven't achieved, which is really cool, because I was 16, 17, somewhere around there when it really took off. And then I ended up doing a senior project. The school I went to was different. It was a charter school where we were able to pick the type of stuff we wanted to learn about. So my stock market forum was a project. Learning how to make more money online was a project. I did a senior project on how I made, I think it was $7,500 in my underwear while I was still in school over the internet. And I was selling, mainly I think I was selling those things on eBay for a lot of things, and I sold some stuff through people's affiliate programs. And then some other stuff that I've done since then, I did AdSense.
Yeah, oh, I remember that really well, because that went so well that we got involved with it too. It went well for a little while, and then something happened.
Yeah, it was quite interesting. We were using AdWords, Google AdWords, to drive traffic to our website, and then we had a website where it had an article, and then it had Google AdSense advertisements that were related to the article. People would come in, and then some of them would click an advertisement, and we'd make money. So I signed up, got everything going, then I duplicated the system and had you do it.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we had Mom do it.
Exactly.
And we were on track to do, I think it was around $30,000 in April.
That's right, we were.
Yeah. So
I came home from a Saturday fishing trip, and I'd made over $350 just that one day, and Susan had made about the same, and that was on a Saturday when I didn't normally make anything at work, of course.
Yeah, we're generally pulling in around $1,000 or so a day for that month. and that's what we were on track for. That month I bought a bunch of things. I bought a car, and I bought a lot of different gear that I thought was cool, stuff that I'd been saving up. Well, not really saving, but things I'd wanted for a long time. I grew up investing a lot of the money that I made into self-improvement products and internet marketing products, just kind of studying a lot of things. I mean, you know,
right, exactly.
all the stuff
Yeah,
I own.
you have a bookshelf, a big bookshelf full of books. You were subscribing to Wall Street Journal and Internet Business Daily when you were involved with the stock market.
I just bought 3 new bookshelves.
Yeah.
I filled up 2 of them, and the other one I haven't set up yet. But I have stuff to put on.
Yeah, you sure do. And one reason for that is you've been getting a lot of stuff for free lately. And
I get a lot of stuff for free, but there were years upon years. You know, that's only been like this past year.
That's right. Since you got involved with this business we're going to talk about tonight.
But basically, I was paying for a lot of things out of pocket. I eventually went into debt because I kept buying a bunch of things, and then basically the AdSense thing crashed.
Exactly, yes. They accused you of invalidly clicking on your links. What you would never do would be like killing the golden goose.
Yeah, definitely.
And we had written to a number of emails to them. We thought the issue was resolved, and you started up again and got a lot of charge cards to the AdWords campaign to drive the traffic to it. And then AdSense wouldn't pay you, and I think they owed you about $14,000 for that 1 month, wasn't it? That you were expecting to get, or it was a good sum?
Well, we were on track for $30K that month.
Yeah.
With expenses, I don't know exactly, but it was in the 5-figure range for profits.
And that's one thing I think that people have to be so careful about when they're doing some of these other businesses like eBay or Amazon or AdWords or AdSense. You have to be very careful that you don't violate any of their rules. And even if you don't violate any of their rules, if they think you're violating their rules, you could suddenly lose that business in just the blink of an eye, like happened to you.
Definitely. I mean, I've had a lot of things. I've gotten in actually a fair amount of trouble online before, you know. I mean, you know me.
Well, I know with your stock market forum, you had a little, you would call yourself IBDU for Investors Business Daily University, and of course they wanted to protect their trademark of IBD, and you had to change the name. Unfortunately, you changed it to readfloren.com and started branding yourself instead of IBD, and that actually turned out to be a blessing.
Yeah, and you didn't want me to do that.
No, I was worried about it. I didn't think you should use your name. And using your name as something, or any name, is something you should spend a little care about and think about. And we aren't going to really discuss that tonight, but when you get started in this business, think about if you want to use your name or variation of it. For instance, I could use jerryfloren.com or geraldfloren.com. So you have to think about what you want to do. And if you have a name like Mike Peterson or Jim Anderson, you might want to use a pen name. That's what some people are doing.
Yeah, a lot of people are using pen names. I should talk about a few of the other things I've done online. I do a lot of stuff with affiliate programs where I'm promoting other people's products. I also am a joint venture broker, so I line up people who have products with people who have mailing lists, so you both profit. It's another thing I do. And I also have a few products of my own that I sell on the internet. I've been a professional speaker at various seminars. I'm a sought-after JV partner. I'm a super affiliate. And there's a lot of things I do once I start building my list. So you start building your list and build up your reputation, you can make a lot of money online.
Would you say that building your list has been kind of the key to what you feel has been the most profitable aspect of your internet business?
Yes and no. I would think the relationships I've cultivated have been the most valuable thing, because if my list blew up for some reason, I lost my list, I could create something from the knowledge I have, and I could have JV partners come and promote it, and I could build my lists back up or build a decent sized list right away and start making money again. So yes, the list is your most important asset, but you need to know how to create it again in case something would ever happen. Now, I've never had a problem like that where I've had a list completely go. I've heard of it happen to people, but I haven't been able to back that up because I don't know.
Sure. But like any business, things can happen.
Things can happen, yeah.
And it's nice to know that you have something that's secure. And I think of all the internet businesses, a list has to be one of the most secure, because as long as you control the list, basically you're owning an asset. You have a group of people that you can go to, and they are interested in purchasing products from you because of the relationship they have with you.
I don't think you have a business until you have a list.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, anyone who goes into business, there's all sorts of people, like we know a bunch of people who I'm not going to name any names, but I think you'll know some of the people I'm talking about, who spend years upon years creating a product.
Exactly.
They don't even know if their market wants product. They don't even know what market it's going to be. They just think, oh, well, I'm going to create this product. They'll spend a decade creating it. And they don't do anything with it. They don't market it. Nothing happens. They just wasted a lot of time trying to do something where, for this product, I have a list already, so we have an advantage.
Exactly.
I sent out a survey to my list. We found out exactly what my list wanted to know, so we could answer their questions and create this product for you guys.
And I think that's such a big advantage of having a list. It's more than just having a group of people that you can sell to. It's the relationship you have with the list. And you can learn a lot by working with your list, sending out a survey and asking them questions. And a number of the questions that we'll be addressing tonight came directly from that survey that Reed sent out. I've been a professional and working in the field for 30 years, and Reed now earns more than I do, and he's only been out of high school for 2 years. And that's when I realized I really ought to need to do something a little bit more than what I've been doing with my regular professional career, and take a look at this internet business. And that's why I've gotten started in this, and really think it's going to be fun. And getting a chance to work with my son like this has really been a lot of fun for me too. So I'm new to this, but I have a mentor. This is my first internet business product, and Reed together is going to teach us how to use a product to start building our list. Now I know you've tried a lot of different internet business models. Why do you recommend building a list?
Well, the number one reason for having your own list is being able to create money on demand. Now, by having a list, you have leverage. I'm sitting here, and odds are I'm going to make some money by the time this is over. Because I have a list, I've promoted something to my list, I have people who are coming onto my list all the time that see different offers I have, and they might be checking their email right now and they're like, oh, that's something I want. They're going to buy it, I'm going to get a commission, or maybe it's my own product, and I'm going to get all the money. Or I might have an affiliate who's promoting something of mine. But odds are I'm going to make something while this is happening. Now, I'd say 99% of the professions out there, that doesn't happen. It's a few people, like a select few in like the entertainment business, and that mainly stems from endorsements. Or say they're an actor and they have a movie that's being played on TV, they're going to get something. Or a musician, they have like a #1 hit, they're going to get some cut. There's a few businesses that run like that kind of have some autopilot earnings coming in, but not many. I'd say the most reproducible thing for the average American or average person worldwide is an internet business. Because you're building this list of people who will eventually know, like, and trust you. And you can make a lot of sales that way.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. And to get started, what would you say are kind of the bare minimum skills a person would need? And maybe what equipment would they need to get started building a list, doing what you're doing?
Okay, well, I don't think a computer, but you could, if you don't have a computer, most people do, but if you don't have one, you can go to like a library and get a computer access. You need internet access. You should get a domain name. That's like $10 a year. You should have a web hosting account. That's like $10 a month.
Okay.
And I have a web hosting account. So I can host, I think it's an unlimited amount of domain names on that account for $10 a month. So that's really cheap when you think about it, because you could have each one of those things is basically another section of real estate.
Sure. And
I can make a lot of money that way. An autoresponder, like Aweber, you can go to aweber.com and get an autoresponder. It's $20 a month.
Okay.
And that's, I remember, I think when I first heard about an autoresponder, it was probably back in '99. It was like $20 a month. Oh my goodness! I was 13 at the time, and I was like, wow, that seems like a lot of money. I was making that from the other, from All Advantage. I think I was doing like 30, 40, somewhere around there. I mean, it wasn't much, but 13, not having to do anything for it was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And if I would have invested that money into my list and learning more about how to actually market stuff online, I'm sure I'd be a multimillionaire by now. I would have made a ton by now.
Yeah.
I'm just really getting started in building my list.
Yeah, you've only done this for just a little over a year, haven't you?
Yeah, I think it was like, I bought a list, or I bought my autoresponder thing back, it was like May 2006. I didn't do anything with it until October. Yeah, October 2006.
Okay, well, it's December 2007 now, so that was basically about 13 or 14 months ago when you really got started building your list. We really need to talk a little bit more about these, and we're going to assume that everyone listening to the interview has a computer and has been using it for word processing, maybe spreadsheets and things like that. And if you haven't, that's where you really need to start. You should probably go back and do that before you even listen to any more of this. But get familiar with using a computer and a word processor, and you'll be well on your way to what you need to know. So what are your recommendations? We're going back to those basic things you said you needed to get started in the business, and we're going to start with the domain name. What are your recommendations for getting a domain name?
Well, it should be like a short domain name. It could be something related to your product or something related to your company, kind of branding that, or you could be branding your name. I'd go to namecheap.com. It's $10 a year for a domain name. And I use a .com. I do have a few others like .nets and .infos and things like that, but .com is really what everyone thinks about.
Sure.
When you think of a website, it's a .com.
Yeah, exactly.
So you want to register those domain names, but you don't want to go overboard. I know a lot of people who have hundreds, if not thousands, of domain names.
Well,
they do nothing with it.
At one time, people were thinking they heard about someone bought like Coca-Cola.com and sold it to Coca-Cola for $10 million, but that really doesn't happen much now anymore, and I don't know if you can even do it that way.
Some people make money buying and selling domains, but I think it's a select few.
Yeah, I'm sure. I think a lot of the internet businesses are like professional sports, and there's a few people at the very top that make a lot of money, and a lot of people that don't make very much money. But this is a little bit different. This is something that requires some work and some effort. Buying a course won't get you in there. You've got to study it and learn how to do it, but it is time-tested, and what I like about it, it's really based on proven business principles.
This is how business has been running for a long time.
Exactly. They weren't long before the internet or even computers.
In a much more expensive way, direct mail.
Oh yeah, exactly. Now we talked about one of the things that's required as a web host. What are your recommendations for a web host account?
One of the web hosts I use, and it's really the main one I use nowadays, is called HostGator. You can go to hostgator.com. It's $10 a month, and you can host as many websites as you want on there. It's really a good deal. I haven't had any problems with them yet, so that's what I recommend.
And then we also talked a little bit about the skills that you need to build a website.
Yeah. Like what software they should use?
Yeah, exactly. I've never built a website. I know how to do word processing, but you've told me that if I know how to do word processing, it won't be that hard for me to build a website. What do I need to do to build a website, knowing that how to use word processing?
Sure, there's a free program I use for the most part. It's called NVU. You can go to nvu.com. I think the actual name's NView, but it's nvu.com, and it's a free HTML editor. It lets you create websites. It looks a lot like Word, I think, and you just kind of type away. You can bold stuff, italicize, you can insert pictures, you can do all sorts of stuff with it. It's not the best program out there, but it's free.
Okay.
There's other things like Dreamweaver, and Microsoft, I think, has expressions now. It used to be Front Page.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of different things if you want to spend money, but for something free to get going, try nvu.com.
The nice thing about the internet, if you get stuck on something, there's always help, usually just a Google search away. So just get the program, practice it. If you have a problem, you can probably find a solution pretty quickly. Now you also need a file transfer protocol, don't you? But I think
I think NVU and a few of those other programs have a file transfer program. But if you just search for file transfer protocol or FTP on the internet, like on Google, you could find something. I've used WSFTP and I've used SmartFTP.
Okay.
They're both alright.
So that's not a big obstacle to overcome either.
No, I think it's like a free trial for it.
Okay. And like I said, I've never posted any content to the web, but do you have any suggestions?
You just need to take action and do it.
Okay, I suppose
in
like
reality, just
anything else I've learned, like a spreadsheet or Word or...
Yeah, you don't really learn anything just reading it.
Okay, you just got to do it.
You have to do it. You have to apply it. You can get the basic knowledge from, like something like this. You're going to learn something from it. There's stuff you're going to learn. You're going to get a basic understanding. You're going to be better off than probably 99% of the people out there.
Exactly.
But you're going to be in the same boat as everyone else. buying everyone else's products. You want to get to the point where you can sell products of your own or sell other people's products, so you're making money.
You also mentioned an autoresponder. We probably need to do a little bit more talk about that. What it basically is an autoresponder, and what does it allow you to do?
Sure. Autoresponders basically allow people to sign up to your list, and they're stored in like a database. You can send out personalized emails. You can also have automatic follow-up messages. So I could have something immediately that goes out when you sign up to my list. I could have something that goes out like maybe 3 days later, something that goes out like 7 days later, something that goes out a couple weeks later, a month later, a year later, automatically. I write that stuff once, and it keeps following up. I think you can also set up things that could do kind of like an automated, like Happy New Year message, but that's really not that hard. You can just log in and do it yourself. That's what I do. You can broadcast messages out. So if I have something new that's coming out, I'm like, hey, check this out. Boom. And everyone gets it. And you can basically, I can send that traffic anywhere I want and direct it to anywhere.
Well, I know with an autoresponder, it's just nice. I've actually seen some of your emails. I get your emails, and it says something, check this out, Jerry, and in the subject line, and then somewhere in the message, it actually has my name again. And I think you just feel better getting a personalized message.
It's like I actually wrote it to you.
Comes to your name, and it makes you feel like the person that is actually corresponding with you as a friend, and not just some anonymous person. So you would highly recommend an autoresponder, I know.
Yeah, I'd go to aweber.com.
Yeah.
And it's like $20 a month.
Now, I'm new to internet marketing, and this is my first product, and frankly, you're helping me out a heck of a lot. Most people don't have a son that can help them out like this, and they're probably a little bit nervous about what type of products they can create as a newbie in this business. Do you have any suggestions for something that they don't have someone that they could interview that they could do?
Okay, if you're just trying to get people like on your list, you could create some sort of article and then have a squeeze page, and it could be like the 10 reasons to build your own list or something like that. And that could be something that people might enter their name and email for. And you could do interviews, you could do screen capture videos, you could write an ebook or a short report, you know, a bunch of different things. Basically, digital information products.
Okay. And now I do a lot of PowerPoint stuff, and I bet a lot of other people do.
I've created products just based off PowerPoint.
Okay, and that's not a big deal.
Nope.
So let's just kind of review where we are now for the people that we're talking to. What should they be able to do to progress farther in this?
Okay, they should have a basic understanding of their computer, know how to work it, and they don't need to know how the computer works, but know that it's not going to blow up by tinkering with it.
Yeah, I think that scares a lot of people. Is they're just afraid they're going to lose something terrible, and or crash their hard drive or something, and that's not going to happen.
You will want to learn how to put something on the internet. You're going to want to get your own domain name, your own hosting account, your own autoresponder. You're going to want to start working on a product, maybe an interview or some articles or a report, a video, anything. Just get something going.
Okay. And this product doesn't really have to be any big thing at all to get your list going.
It doesn't have to be perfect. I know I've said and ah a few times.
Yeah, well,
I don't care. If you have a problem with that, and you feel that this isn't worth it, we'll give you a refund. I don't care. It's not a big deal because it's not going to hurt us any. You know, if you're a problem customer like that and you are like, oh, they say and ah, I didn't learn something because someone said well, I don't want you on my list because I say and ah, you say and ah in real life too. You know, get over yourself.
That's how people talk. And one thing that I think is interesting with this type of an interview is that we're going to go through, there's not going to be any editing. I think editing kind of destroys something, because to me when I see an edited tape, it makes me think, oh, they must have taken out something that was really not good at all. And I feel it's better to just let the tape roll and go as you can, and this is actually our first cut, so we'll see what happens.
Well, I think there's definitely some great content here. There's stuff that if I would have learned back in '99, I would be making a lot more money now.
Exactly.
By going through this. So I know there's real value in here because I know the power of a list.
Yep.
And if you take one thing away from us, is start building your list. Just start.
Exactly.
Don't buy another product. Start building your list.
Yep.
Get that autoresponder. That's the first thing you should do after you get this video is get an autoresponder, get your web hosting set up, and just do something with it.
And build a simple product. It doesn't have to be complex, and we'll show you how that works in just a little bit. So let's just spend a little bit more time on the product, because that for me has been a real big stumbling block that's really kept me out of the business.
Yeah.
Because first of all, I couldn't think of anything that I could produce, and even worse, I couldn't think of anything that I could sell. And tonight we're going to show you how to do both, and you'll be amazed at how well this works. So could you give us some specific examples of products that someone in this business could create?
Sure, you could do articles or short reports.
Okay,
and those are generally things you'd give out for free.
Sure. I know when we were doing the AdWords AdSense, a lot of our content came from a site called ezinearticles.com.
Yep, that's right.
And I would recommend anyone that's struggling for a product, go to ezinearticles.com, take a look at what they have, and do an article of their own that's like that. Do several like that. And
yeah,
you have
model something that's successful in their niche.
Yeah.
Or they could connect with one of those article writers and interview them.
Exactly. Because once you have an eZine article on there, you already have something that could send people to your list that other people would actually pay to have that article reviewed by people searching the web, and they might click on the link at the bottom that would send them directly to your site.
Yeah, with an article you can have a little resource box at the bottom, and you can point people to your website. And this establish your credibility because you're an article writer. People see that and they're like, ooh, that person knows what they're talking about. I've had articles, I think all my articles have been viewed like 10 or 15,000 times over the past year or so. I've got articles in some stock stuff, articles in internet stuff, but you know, that's really not a whole lot. I haven't given out a whole lot of articles. I know there's things that I've put on my website that have gotten more views than that, but it's just on this eZine Articles site, and they get ranked in the search engines well. For things generally, you can use this content again and again. I've used articles there and I've created, like I've written articles and then I've put them into reports, and then I've used those articles to come up with what I should put into a PowerPoint, and then I put that into a coaching program I did that I sold for $1,000. I took basically stuff from my articles, I popped it in there, repurposed the content, added a few more things into it, sold it for $1,000, and I sold a bunch of those. You witnessed that. I also condensed that down into like a short thing, hour and a half, and that's $100. And so I'm repurposing my content over and over and over again, and I'm sure we're going to do this with this video. One of the ideas we had right before we started shooting this is to take parts of this video and then put them out on the web.
Exactly.
You know, little snippets of the video, so we could help people learn and get more comfortable with us, and then they'd buy more products from us, because people buy from people they know, like, and trust.
Well, we've mentioned PowerPoint a couple of times, and that's a program that's so easy to learn, and I suspect a lot of people already know how to do it. There's one more step with PowerPoint they should know about. You can't just do PowerPoint, don't you have to go to...
I use Camtasia.
Camtasia, okay.
Now, Camtasia is like a $300 program, but as we do this, I know they have a free version. They have Camtasia 3 for free right now. And that does enough from what I've seen. You can record your screen, you can create these screen capture videos. You could use PowerPoint, or you could just show a real live example of how to do something with a screen capture video.
Sure.
So we could create a video on how to upload something to your website.
Yeah.
And people buy that.
Yeah.
I know there's people that would buy that.
And keep in mind that as you're learning something new, you may actually be in a better position to explain it to a person that has less experience than someone like Reed that's been doing it a long time, because they're going to say, oh, it's just easy, and his fingers will fly over the keyboard, and you won't have a clue what he did.
No.
But if you were showing them after having just learned it, you could probably do a better job than a lot of experts.
Yeah, that's true. I know there's a lot of people, like in my boot camp, I know a lot of them were struggling. I thought I did a good job teaching them, and I know they learned a lot because I was getting unsolicited testimonials, and they all seemed very, hyped up at the end of the calls, and they really enjoyed what they learned. But I think there were a lot of them that they didn't have the technical expertise to go to the next level, and that was a roadblock for them.
Yeah.
And a lot of them have mindset changes they need to work on. Those are the two major obstacles I see, are mindset and technical stuff. Now, I don't know if any one of those are sexy enough to sell. We'd have to come up with something like a unique slant on that to sell that, because I don't think people are going to be like, ooh, I want to buy technical crap. They want They want the quick fix. They want to be this
instant millionaire.
Instant millionaire.
Because they've heard of people that have done it, but they have to keep in mind, again, those are like the professional athletes, the very top actors and actresses. And when you learn of those people and know them, you find out that they paid their dues. They didn't just happen overnight.
It's not an overnight success. I mean, you hear of websites that we launch that pull in over $1 million in a day. Well, number one, that's sales. Like $1 million in sales. And those are like the top internet marketers that have done launches like that. They have all of their buddies promoting it.
Yeah.
They're giving out those people at least a 50% commission. They've probably got a JV broker they're paying something. They've got a copywriter they've paid. They've got people designing the graphics. They've got, it's usually a big ticket product. So maybe they've already got the courses all developed. What if they had 1,000 or 2,000 courses that they've developed? It might cost them $50 or $100 per course to put together, and then they're selling it for $1,000. Plus they're paying out like $500 commission. That might, might cost them $600 or $700 for every $1,000 sale.
Yep.
They make. So, instead of $1 million, maybe they make a couple $100,000. That's not bad, but it's not what the numbers are. It's not. I see those things, and I see people like this is another thing that really bugs me with the industry. I'm really candid about what I don't like about the industry. I think there's a lot of misleading stuff in the industry, and I'm not afraid to say it, even if it pisses off my JV partners that I say this kind of stuff, because I think it's fair. I think you guys should know what's going on. There's people that will show, ooh, I made, thousands upon thousands of dollars one day. They'll have several, like, ClickBank stats that show hundreds, if not thousands of dollars that they made. And it's like, I made this promoting products, and that's just one of my ClickBank accounts. And number one, it's usually someone who just launched a product. Yeah,
so they may have spent months and months getting the product ready to launch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that also is factoring in, like, I think the affiliate sales too. So it's like, yeah, so they made all this money, but they've got to pay out a bunch, which isn't bad. I'm for paying out money, but it's really misleading when they're like, oh, I made hundreds, if not thousands of dollars a day.
Yes.
And they have these stats, but they show their best days ever.
Yeah.
Or they talk about, I sent out an email and I was able to buy a car, or I sent out an email and I was able to go on this fancy vacation. And that's usually their best email ever they're talking about. That's not every email, because they're sending out emails maybe every day. If they're pulling in that kind of money, it's unlikely. There's a few people that can do that. That's true. But they make it sound like everyone and their brother is going to immediately, once they have a list of a few people, immediately have that kind of money.
Yeah.
And that's not the case.
Well, I've
had some emails that I've sent that I've made in the thousands. That is true. That has happened. It does happen. But it bugs me when there's people that make it seem like that's every single day. Every day that they make that money, and that's all profit for them. Because most of them, it's a lie.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I just want to kind of reiterate that, building these products isn't as difficult. And I kind of have a feeling that once you have the product, the actual building the list, we're not very far away from doing that. But we kind of need to look at some specific types of web pages in internet business terms, because there's a little bit more than just getting a web page up. There's specific types of web pages that you need. So what are the final steps that you need to kind of master before you really start building your list?
Okay, some things that you really need, one of the things you need is a squeeze page.
And you mentioned that term once before. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Sure. Basically, a squeeze page is this page where you're asking for people to sign up to your list. You're going to have a headline,
okay,
maybe some bullet points, maybe a testimonial, you even put a video clip or an audio clip on there. Then you're going to have this call to action. So you might be like, the headline might be 7 secrets to list building success, ... And then you might have a few bullet points talking about, 3 ways to explode your list, 2 ways to get people to promote you, stuff like that. Those would be your bullet points. And your call to action would be something like, sign up today and you'll also receive yada yada yada. Just enter your name and email below. And they enter in their name and email, click submit. They get on your list. You might have a one-time offer after that. And you might offer maybe a video or an audio or a software program, something that you're putting out there. And usually one-time offers are $97, $197. I see things all over the place. It really depends on what's going in. But those are pretty common price points right now. You have front-end products and back-end products. Front-end products really could be, you know, any price point, but generally it's something like a lower-end deal.
Okay, so even like one of these articles that someone wrote, or a collection of several articles that were related?
In a way, I don't really think of an article as a front-end product, because when I usually think of articles, I think of them being on like e-zine articles.
Okay.
And you might have the e-zine articles thing, when your article's on there, you have the resource box. You have that pointing back to your squeeze page, so you're getting people on your list.
Okay.
But you might have a front-end product of like a CD or a cheap report that you're going to give out, and you could give out 100% commission if you wanted, or 50% or whatever percent commission. I've seen commissions on a front-end product of 200% for it.
So they're actually paying people to sell their product.
Because they know the value of their list.
The list is so valuable that if you, for example, had a product you were selling for $7, you'd be willing to pay $14. If someone paid $14 for it, you'd feel really great if you just got their name.
Yeah, you could do that. That's not very common. There are a few people that do that. I'd say generally it's 50. Most people will not promote anything online that's less than 50%. And if it's a low-end product, like a $7 product, you know, 7 to maybe even 27 or so is generally 100% nowadays. There are a few 27s that are 50, but generally anything in that range is 100% in the internet marketing field. And what's worth it for that is you're building your list, and you have a list of customers. Customers are going to buy more than freebie seekers.
Sure.
I mean, I have people that were in my boot camp that have already spent thousands upon thousands of dollars on even more education from me. And they spend $1,000 to get into my product funnel.
Yeah.
That's something I should address here. We're really talking about a product funnel. You have this front-end product or your squeeze page that's cheap. Then you have a back-end product, which might be a video, or it might be audios, or it might be something else that's, you know, more expensive. Then you have another back-end product. It might be a home study thing, or it might be a coaching program, or, you know, something, boot camp, anything like that. Then you might have another thing that's even more expensive, and it's basically like an inverted like triangle, like this, and it gets more expensive as you go down. And you might have like a seminar or workshop or one-on-one stuff.
Sure.
At the most expensive price point.
Yeah, I've seen internet cruises where basically they have a small group that meets. There was one that I just saw about an eBay cruise, where they took a cruise, and while they were cruising, they spent some time going over eBay and learning how they could work that business. So the front-end products and back-end products, I think, are pretty easy to understand. It's usually the front-end product would be a lower priced product, and that would be the one that you could have 100% commission on to your JV partners, and we're going to talk more about those in a minute, that would promote that product for you. And then the back-end product, when they purchase the front-end product, they would be directed to a page that has a back-end product. Now, would you get 100% commission on that, or would that be split with your partner?
Generally, front-end and back-ends are usually 50.
Okay.
50 to 75. There are a few people that do 100 because they want that list and they want to build up their list fast. That's really not a bad way to go.
Okay.
To do things, and I might try it a few times, but I also, there's a part of me that wants to get to the point where I'm only really promoting my own products, or my own products and my students' products, and maybe a few JV partners, but I see the value in having your own products over promoting everyone else's stuff.
And as you get farther along in the business, like for you, it's nothing to come up with a product, and you can in just a few hours, you've got a great looking product. And this product took me a little time to write out. It helped a lot that you sent out the list and got the questions. If you have a list, those types of products
are easy to create once you have a list.
Yeah, once you have a list, you just have to solicit your list partners and ask their opinion, and frankly, they like that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people like it.
Yeah, I think they like having their opinion.
I've sent out a bunch of surveys recently, and I had surveys. The survey thing I'm doing only allows 100 surveys at a time unless I pay a fee, and I might do it, but I also feel 100 is enough. Yeah. And it automatically closes down my survey after 100. I had several surveys that within like an hour or so, I had over 100 responses. These were surveys that were asking a lot of questions. They weren't just one question. It was things that were asking like a dozen questions. And they would fill up within like an hour or so. And I had people emailing me, hey, I can't get to your survey. And I was able to send hundreds of people to that page. So it's really interesting to see what you can do with a list.
Well, I think that's such a good way to learn about your customers, because that's what your list is really.
It's the best way to learn.
Yeah.
You know, you're basically giving your customers what they want, and that's what marketing is. You give people what they want, and you're going to make more money.
I think we've all seen a squeeze page. Like, I know there's been a lot of times where I've gone to a forum that had some information that I wanted, but before I could actually get onto it, I had to fill out my name and my email. So in a way, that's kind of like the squeeze page
Very
you're
similar,
talking
yeah.
about. But could you talk a little bit more about the squeeze page and the one-time offer?
Offer? Yeah, basically you have the squeeze page. People sign up for a free product or something for free. And then you have a one-time offer, which is basically a deal that someone can't get again and again. That they can only get it if they take action right now. And it's really attention grabbing. It maybe has some bonuses. It's worth more than they're selling it for. It has a lot of value in it. And you can find stuff, like I've seen things that have like 50 or 100 products for $20.
Uh-huh.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that those are the best products, but you're going to learn something.
Sure.
And if you actually took the information there and applied it, you'd be better off than probably 99% of the people in this niche. There's a ton of people in this niche who devour, and never do anything. If you took one of the products you get, I'm sure you have products on your hard drive right now, besides this.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure this isn't your first product that you've gotten. Even if it's a free report that you haven't paid for, this is the first thing you've purchased. There are things out there that, if you just applied the knowledge, tried it out, you know, for a week or so, see what happens. You know, you're taking action. Don't spend more money buying stuff. Start building that list, and then start taking action on some of the other things. I recommend building a list and creating a product, because that's how all those guys are making money. They might tell you, oh, I use this strategy, and that's how I make money. But in reality, it boils down to they have a list, and they have JV partners and affiliate programs.
Okay. So just kind of to review where we are, you should have created a product. You should have some content on the web, including squeeze pages and one-time offer. And if you're not familiar with either the squeeze pages or the one-time offer, get on some of these lists. You'll get emails. That's one way to learn the business. Look at the emails, see what the squeeze pages look like, find out about the one-time offer pages, and then also get your responder and autoresponder and figure out how that works. So then what are the next steps when you're at this level? How do you go about building your list from here?
Well, there's a lot of ways to build a list. You could have articles out there that are sending you traffic.
Okay, like those e-zine articles that we mentioned.
Yeah. You could also you could buy advertising. You could buy like
just
Google
like the
advertising.
we did. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, those
Do
could
the
have gone
AdWords.
to our website instead of to the.
We had a few people that
Yeah.
joined a list. We had what was it? Hairstyles.
Yeah.
I think was one of the things, and I had a beauty sign up thing. If you want to learn more about beauty, enter your name and email below. It wasn't anything attention grabbing. I didn't do any copy writing with it. I didn't do anything fancy. It was just basically enter your name and email. I got almost 1,000 people to sign up.
Okay, so that was really kind of the start of your first list.
Yeah, I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
You know, and I got people to sign up, and it made some money, but not a whole lot.
Well, there is a lot more to this business and doing it correctly than just building a list, because there's one kind of list and another kind of list, and we'll talk about those in a bit. So you've mentioned joint venture partners a couple of times, and maybe we should spend a few minutes on that, because that might be a new term for some people. Can we just, like maybe, I know that you feel joint ventures are one of the best ways to build your list.
I think it's the best way in reality, because joint ventures, you're only paying for results. Joint ventures, okay, let's say this is a new product for you.
Okay.
I already have a list. That's quite large. You can create this product. You can approach me, get to know me. You know,
Yeah.
pretend you're not my
Yeah.
dad. You can get to know me, and then you can ask me if I'd be interested in promoting this. I might say yes. That's sent out to my list. You might get 50 people, 100 people, something that they're going to sign up. You're going to have your first list.
Yeah.
I also am known as the JV broker in the internet marketing niche. I can connect people with a bunch of other people to promote them. So I can connect people up who would promote you, and you might be able to build a list of several hundred or several thousand by having someone like me help you. And basically, when you have a list, at least in the internet marketing niche, it's about $1 per month per subscriber. So if you have 1,000 people on your list, you're going to be making around $1,000 a month. If you have 10,000 people on your list, you're going to be making around $10,000 a month from your list. And anywhere in between, you have lists bigger than that. And that's average. There's people that make less, there's people that make more. But that's, what I'd say is probably in line with what I'm doing from my list.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that depends how you approach your list too. Like we've said, this was a customer-driven business. You have to treat your list right. One thing that's very important is always provide good products. If you start providing bad products, your list can drop off very quickly. And the way you communicate to your list, the autoresponder is helpful, and I think the surveys are helpful. And I think there's things you'd agree that you could even do more.
Oh, there's definitely room for improvement.
Sure.
I do a lot of promotion. I do a lot of people who probably think I'm more of a spam guy because they get a lot of offers from me. They can unsubscribe at any time and never receive another email from me. But I know there's people that get irritated because they get all these offers from me. I also have people on the other end that are thanking me and calling me up and saying, wow, thank you so much for telling me about this. I really like it.
Yeah.
And so I know I'm doing the right thing. It's just some people don't like it. I feel that you're learning more by seeing how this marketing is done than by me giving out a lot of free information. Because I could give out free information until, I die, and you're not going to do anything with it.
I think if people pay for a product, they feel more like they want to use it and get their money's worth.
Generally, there's going to be a lot of people that buy this who aren't going to get this far into this. Yeah, I know that. That's a sad fact of life. There are a lot of products I've bought, even though I've never opened.
Well, I know you told me about one product where I think it was the 4th DVD out of the 5th one was defective. Everyone's was defective, and out of 130 people that purchased that product, only one complained. So apparently
that's the story I've heard about it.
Only one got to the 4th DVD.
It's sad.
Never got any farther.
And those are the people, the ones that get to that level, those are the ones that are going to go further because they're actually applying themselves. Now, you can't just be a sponge and just suck up this information and think that you're going to make money by osmosis. I've made that mistake before. I thought, I know everything about this, and I got really arrogant about it. And it was like, no, I'm not really making anything with it, but I know everything, and that didn't really help me out any. You gotta keep learning, but apply what you know. There's a lot of things, and it really boils down to having a list.
And there's nothing like studying about something and writing it up in an article. Doing that just gives you so much more confidence.
Turns you into an expert.
Pardon?
Turns you into an expert.
Yes, it does. Yeah, when people start seeing your name on articles, they have more respect for you. But also, you learned enough and know enough about it to write it up in an article that actually makes sense. So that's very important to do that. I think that there's a potential some people could still have a little confusion about joint ventures, and they're not new to internet marketing. They've been around for ages.
Forever.
Could you give some examples from a traditional business just to make it crystal clear
exactly
what a joint venture is?
I'll talk about a few. Probably like 10 years ago or so, Beanie Babies were really popular, and you saw them in McDonald's all the time. They had the Happy Meal, and you got a Beanie Baby.
We got some for our daughter.
No, we got some for me too. I was pretty young, and they were cute. But basically, people went to McDonald's to get the Beanie Baby. They didn't want the burger. They didn't want the fries. They wanted the Beanie Baby.
Exactly.
That's how McDonald's business is run. I don't know anyone who likes McDonald's food.
I do.
Who likes, compared to a real restaurant.
Well, when I'm making some real money with this business, maybe my taste will improve.
But I mean, okay, say the food's price was the same. A real restaurant or McDonald's?
Well, there you go. I'd be at the real restaurant.
Exactly. And the only reason that they can really drive business to them is convenience, the speed, because they're very quick.
Yeah.
And they're very efficient. They've got a system down. And they usually have a free toy that kids get. And that really drives a lot of stuff. And well, their play places probably make them money too. But they knew how to market to, the baby boomers grew up with it.
Yeah.
And then they marketed it to other people. And the baby boomers kids and the Gen X and my generation, whatever it is, the internet generation, they, flock to McDonald's still for those Beanie Babies and other toys. Another thing, IBM and Microsoft. Bill Gates went to IBM and convinced them to put Microsoft DOS into all of their computers. That was the operating system before Windows. And then that was just kind of a natural precursor. We had Windows come out, and then we have Office, and we have a bunch of other things that Microsoft's developed, and now Bill Gates is either the richest person in the world or one of the top ones. There's something going on with some guy in Mexico who apparently has more money now, but whatever.
Well, I know these joint ventures. I just heard about one with Ford and Daimler, and they're planning a joint venture where they're going to share research on putting together a hydrogen vehicle. So basically, it's two different companies or people sharing resources, doing different things, but complementing each other so that they don't have such high expenses.
And they mutually benefit.
Exactly.
From it.
Yeah.
Basically, there's a couple different joint ventures you can do in this market, and that's creating a product, promoting someone or having them promote you, or doing some sort of list building giveaway.
Mm-hmm.
And those are really the JVs I use in this marketplace. There's a few others, but those are the main things that people use.
So if there is a particular stumbling block that you just cannot master, like for example getting up on the web, you could partner with someone that's a web designer. Maybe you're really good at writing products down, or you have some business experience that would be really helpful to that web designer. The two of you could form a joint venture partnership. You might want to see a lawyer before you get too far into it, because if you start making a lot of money, things could get nasty if you don't have a good understanding. It might be best to do that with a friend. It might be interesting to compare the internet business with a traditional bricks and mortar business, just to see what the difference and similarities are, because we've already talked about two things that come from the brick and mortar. The list building and joint ventures are from traditional business.
Sure. Like a brick and mortar business, like a store, you've got to get, you're building your land, you have employees, you have a lot of taxes, utilities, inventory, a lot of marketing expenses, you have to have other stuff in your store. Whatever you're doing, it's going to cost money. I've heard, I don't know if this statistic is true, but I've heard the average brick and mortar business costs at least $200,000 to get going. That's a lot of money.
Well, I think that'd be very reasonable.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard of McDonald's franchises that are like $1 million plus just to get going. Yeah. And you have to like have that money before you can do it. It's not like you get a loan for it. You have to like have earned that kind of money, pay for that with cash, to do that. That's a lot of money. So an internet business is a lot less expensive, because basically you learn how to create a product, and that's, we're teaching you that right now. You're going to have a good enough understanding that you could do something on the internet, even if it's creating something based off of what we're doing here. That's fine. Compete with us.
So often what I learn about doing something, a particular piece of software or word processing, I just have to see how it's done and know that it's possible. And once you know that it's possible, you can go back and figure out how it was done. The first step is just seeing just what is possible. Once you see what's possible, it's easy to recreate it. You may have to do a little research, but it's not that difficult.
Definitely, but let's compare a little bit more for our expenses.
Okay.
Basically, they need their domain name. That's $10 a year.
Yeah.
You need your hosting account. It's like $10 a month. That's $120 a year. You need your autoresponder. That's $20 a month. What, $240
a year.
So $240,
$360,
$370. So about $400.
Yeah.
Plus maybe some education that you get. And you don't have to pay that all at once. You can pay that while your business is growing. I think as we do this, Aweber has a free trial. I think you can get a trial at HostGator. So you can get going relatively inexpensively, start making some money. And your business can keep funding itself. Yeah. I've pretty much built my business off of it funding itself. I've used some credit cards to fund it more, but it's pretty much, I've taken money I have to grow. I've never worked a job, as you know.
No, he's never worked a job. He's never gotten a penny from me, other than he did use my credit card, which he paid back in full. In fact, I think he paid back more than you owed, but that's all right. We had a hard time figuring out whose charges were whose, and I think I got some charges paid off by Reed that were actually mine, but we won't worry about that.
It works because...
It worked good for me.
I've lived with my parents for a long time, and even though I make a lot of money online, I still choose to be at home because I like the social aspect. I like being to help out around the house. I realize that they're not always going to be with me. I do have a girlfriend, but she lives a long ways away. And we see each other. She was just down this weekend.
Exactly.
And we see each other just about every weekend. And we both drive and meet up because her parents live basically in between.
Yeah.
And we both hang out with each other a lot, but there hasn't been a real drive for me to get out and live in what I feel is kind of isolation, because I don't want a roommate. I don't want other people there. The only person I'd really consider living with besides my family would be my girlfriend. So she's going to school somewhere else. I don't want to go there because it's even colder than where I live.
That's hard to believe.
She lives in northern Minnesota, and I'm in southern Minnesota, and
there's a big
it's
difference.
even colder there. So I don't want to go out there.
I think we should just talk a little about lists, because there are some traditional businesses that are so close to what we're talking about. And when I was growing up, we were getting these big catalogs from Sears and Roebuck and Montgomery Ward's and J.C. Penney's, and they were about 3 inches thick. They were mailed to us because we were on their customer list, of course. Mm-hmm. But you can just imagine the expense of, first of all, producing a book like that. And it's no wonder they don't do it anymore. And then mailing it.
I know from like J.C. Penney, if you go into the store, it costs like $5 or $10 to get the catalog.
Yeah, and they used to get mailed to you free if you were a customer, but they just can't afford to do that now because they're so expensive to produce, and I'm sure they're losing money on them. They aren't making a profit at $10. And you compare that to what you're able to do now. You can build a list, and you can build a website, and the website is basically...
I'm on Sears mailing list for email now.
Is that right?
Yep, Sears, Victoria's Secret,
yeah.
A few other places that I've purchased things or I've signed up because I want to know how their marketing works. And they send out stuff almost daily or daily, giving me deals on various things. I get Craftsman deals, I've gotten lingerie deals, I've gotten regular deals, and it's really interesting to see how they do their marketing. I really enjoy that. I love getting on people's lists to see what's going on. Usually don't stay on long. I get on for a while, stay for a few weeks, see what's going on. Maybe there's something I could model in my business. So list building has really been going on for probably a good 100 years, maybe even longer.
I think it might have been, I can't remember his middle name, but Montgomery Ward, I believe, was the first one, and I think it was 1850s, or maybe that was when he was born, but it's been well over 100 years that these catalog businesses got started. So they've been around a long time, and of course catalogs are still used a lot today, but they're a different type, a more easily mailed catalog, and usually focused on a pretty narrow niche. Mm-hmm. But anyway, any catalog you receive in the mail is basically because you're on someone's list.
Just about anything, any junk mail you get in the mail, it's usually you've signed up for something. I get a lot of business opportunity things in the mail. Not as much anymore because I haven't been signing up for a lot of people's lists. But earlier on, I was getting stuff daily, where I was getting a bunch of sales letters. I still do. I still get a lot of stuff. I get a lot of stuff in the investing community. I get free products sometimes in the investing community because people run across my website that I haven't done anything with for a couple of years probably. Yeah. But people still run across it and they're like, oh, that's an established website, we should send them something. And I get something for it. I got 2 books the other day that I've looked at. Well, I looked at the covers. I haven't read them yet, I guess. And it was really cool because it's like, why did I get this? But I realized, oh yeah, I'm on someone's list. And you get stuff like that all the time. I get a lot of stuff. You get a lot of stuff. Yeah. In various niches.
We all do. And if you are a traditional business owner and you haven't developed a mailing list, if you get nothing out of this course other than thinking about putting your own business on a mailing list, that would be very valuable to you. If you have an automobile dealership or if you have an antique store, just imagine sending out a list to your customers saying, I have such and such on special today.
Well, okay, let's say you're a movie theater. You could say, here's all the new movies coming out.
Yeah.
You could send out something every week. You could give out like 2-for-1 specials. You could give out, when you buy a large popcorn, you get a small drink free. Various things you could do to earn more. If you were a lumber dealer, you could talk about new shipments of lumber you got in. You could talk about various home improvement things that you have going on. If you're a pet store, you could talk about new pets that are coming in. You could talk about pet care. You could talk about things related to pets. There's a bunch of things you could do to really establish yourself and differentiate yourself from your competition. And your customers are going to buy from you sort of regardless. As long as you're giving them, quality stuff and you're really helping them out, they're going to go to you over the competitor, even if your prices are the same or even a little bit more, because you're the one constantly being in touch with them. You're the one creating a relationship with them. What if you were, let's say you were a pet store and you did a short little video clip on pet care and you gave out that maybe once a month or once a week or something like that, and you had one of your employees do something that talked about something related to pet care, and then you could talk about, you could talk about bunny rabbit care, and then you could, at the end of the video, you could recommend a certain type of bunny food. Come in today and we'll help you select this for your rabbit. There's a lot of things you could do that would really make you guys the expert. And you could repurpose this content over and over again. You could really build your business. You could have coupons that you could easily track. Print off this coupon, you'll get 10% off your purchase at such and such.
And you wouldn't be paying to insert the coupon in a newspaper. You'd just be sending out an email.
You might never have to advertise again, because you would have something at your register when people order, when they purchase their product, and you're like, hey, would you like the 7 secrets to whatever? And they're like, sure. What's your name and email?
Yeah.
Your person enters that into the database, and they will get that free report for you guys. The customer will get that free report, and you can keep mailing them over and over again. And I would think in the traditional business world, the customer on a list would be worth a heck of a lot more than $1 per email. Because people that are buying something like that, say it was a furniture store, they might spend thousands of dollars on something, and they might buy stuff again and again. Because I know when I see something, look at like a newspaper, and you get ads in that, and you see some special, I might go in for that special priced item. Well, here's an example. There's something I wanted that I was looking for. It was like $200. I bought a software program. I went to a store. I left the store with that software program, a computer, and a camera. Well, because of an ad saying that I could get software on special. I wasn't looking to buy a computer or a camera. It just happened. The price was a really good deal. I will admit, I got a really good deal on the computer and the camera, because I haggled with staff. That's another business tactic. I'll go into stores sometimes and I'll be like, it's not the best you can do. And I'll have them call their competition too every once in a while if it's something expensive. I don't do it for everything, but if it's something expensive, several $100s, I might let them have a little fun. And I get to chuckle with my friends as they're like, oh man, you're doing it again. And, we're just wasting time for the most part when we're down at those places. We're just having fun, so it doesn't matter. Now, if I'm going in there to get something specific and I need to get back home because it's something related to business, I go and get out, get home. But if it's something, I want to have a little fun with the guy, maybe I'm waiting for a movie to play, I'll do something like that. That works. It's fun.
Well, one thing this is the last thing I really want to say about traditional businesses, but suddenly you can sure expand your marketplace because of just looking in your local area. Really, the whole world, if you want to ship it, is there. But if you wanted to make it easy and just ship to the United States, you've expanded your business from a very small area to basically the whole United States without much trouble. Mm-hmm. Could you just give us a couple examples of how you've used joint ventures to build your list? Because now we're kind of getting into the
Sure, I've used list building giveaways. I've hosted giveaways, and I've been a member of giveaways. And basically how this works is you get a bunch of people to donate a product, and they all promote this website. Now this website will have maybe 100 gifts, 100 things that people could download. They sign up to get those 10,000 free gifts. Then they get presented with a one-time offer where I'm selling something else of mine. Then they either say yes or no. If they say yes and purchase, I give a commission out to the partner. If they say no, oh well, I don't care. They go to this download page to get a bunch of free gifts. And they basically open up each gift in a new window. They enter their name and email for each gift. And they get on a bunch of lists. But I have all these people promote. I built a list. This was basically my first list. I built a list from 0 to 3,000 some in 7 days from 10 JV partners promoting a giveaway of mine. And then I promoted something else. I think that site pulled in about $1,000 or $2,000 from the launch. Now I had to pay affiliates, but even so, that's more money than most people make from even a week. That's more than a lot of people make. I know I have friends that make a couple $100 a month. And that's sad. I mean, they live in the United States. I don't know how they survive. They make a few $100 a month. And I mean, I have a lot of days where I make more than that in a day. I've had hours where I make a lot more than that. Add like a 0 onto that. Now, I'm not saying every hour like that or every day is like that, but there are things I do that produce that. It's usually like a teleseminar or a webinar or a seminar that you're speaking at where you can produce quick windfalls like that.
Well, those little quick windfalls sure are nice when you think about bringing up your average income for the whole year. When suddenly you can tack on 3,000 or 4,000 or 5,000 for one day's work.
Well, you have the potential to do, well, probably not well, you could. Some people can. Like an hourly, you could make your yearly income your hourly. Yeah, that's the potential with something like that if you do it right. Now, you get to the point where you're going to have to send a lot more people. You know, if you made $1 million last year, and you want to make $1 million an hour, you're going to need a lot more prospects.
Yeah, you couldn't do that.
To do that every single time, and then it's going to keep growing. But you get the idea. If you, let's say you're making $20,000 to $50,000 a year, you have the potential to do that in like an hour-long call. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but that's a potential. I've heard of $100,000 calls before.
But that doesn't mean you'd be working for $30,000 an hour for the whole year. That would be 1 hour out of the year where you launched a product and had really good
You're being
results.
interviewed. You know, you're doing something very similar to this, but it's like over the phone.
And you may have days where you send out a list and you don't make very much money.
Well, I don't know if I've made anything today.
Yeah,
but today was slow. I mean, it's holiday season right now.
That's not good for the internet marketing business, contrary to what you might think. That's not the best time of the year.
It seems like summertime and December seem a little slow.
Yeah.
To me, I don't know. I mean, I might have made money. I don't know. I haven't really been on the computer. I slept most of the day. It's a Sunday. I hang out with my girlfriend a little bit, and I've slept. I'm not really feeling the greatest right now. Some of you might be able to tell. I've been a little sick to my stomach today, and you know, that happens, but I don't have to be anywhere. And there's a lot of people that work today.
Yeah.
I mean, it's holiday season. There's a lot of people working at retail stores. I'm sure a lot of my friends are out working.
Well, I do a lot of work with agriculture, and I tell you, when I was sick, I always thought, thank goodness I'm not a dairy farmer, because they had to milk their cows no matter how sick they were. And if you were sick, you wouldn't want to be milking cows.
Another thing I do with joint ventures is I'll release like a free report, and people sign up to my list that way. And I'll have the JV partners, I'll promote that, and I'll give them affiliate commission, and I might have some prizes, things like that to get on. There's another thing I do, it's called autoresponder swaps. This is a really advanced thing, it's called integration marketing. And basically, I have someone put in a message for me into their autoresponder, maybe it's 7 days later after someone signs up, and this is an automated follow-up message. So, you'll join the list, 7 days later, they'll get an email promoting my thing. You know, Billy signs up, gets on my list, he gets, or signs up for that list, 7 days later he gets the email from me. Then I'll do the same thing, I'll promote one of their products, and we both grow our list. I've done things like that where I've done, let's say I'm doing 10 to 100 some people a day. It really depends. There's some days I've had a lot of people come on board through that. I've had other days where it's like nobody, and I don't know why, but it's a nice automated stream of people, and I just need to work on tweaking that, because that has a lot of potential. If you could get the right partners on board, you might be able to do a list of 100 or 1,000 people a day coming in if you did it really well. So that's a lot of potential, and you're making money on the back end because you've got all these other products that are being promoted.
One thing that kind of puzzles me is how do you establish a relationship with these joint venture partners? Like, say for example, if I didn't know you, how would I learn about the joint venture partners that could maybe promote a product that I created?
Sure. One thing, I send out stuff to my list. Every once in a while I send out something relevant to, relevant to my life. I might say something about, hey, I was hanging out with so-and-so and we did this and did that. So I know a lot of marketers, and I might go over to their house and do something. I know one time Harris Feldman and I were hanging out, and I was over at his house. We played the Nintendo Wii, and I talked about that because he was much better at it. He owns the thing, so he's much more familiar with it than I am. It was, I think, my first time playing it. And I talked a little bit about what we did and other stuff we did that day because he was actually at my seminar. Jeff Mills and I do a seminar up in Minnesota, and I actually picked him up on my way down because I was hanging out with my girlfriend. And I came down and I picked him up, and we headed over to my seminar location. And I don't know who spoke. It might have been Jeff, might have been myself, might have been Steve Renner. It could have been anyone who spoke that day. But we went over to Harris's place, and I played video games for a while, and got to meet his wife and kids, and it was fun. It was a good bonding experience. I sent that out to my list, and I had people comment back like, "Wow, I didn't know you guys actually know each other." But you know, that's how a lot of things happen. We build our businesses that way. I've promoted a bunch of Harris's products. I think I actually, I don't know if it was that day. I think it was a different day. Harris and I met up. Well, actually, this was the first time Harris and I met up. We had talked over email and some messenger before because I realized he was local, but we went out for coffee or something, and so I talked a little bit more about stuff we did there, and I do that every once in a while when I meet some of the bigger fish, and sometimes I'll say something to my list because in a way we sort of have this kind of celebrity status going on with our list, and you can have that too because you're sending people stuff every day, and really, you know, how someone becomes famous from my experience is they're constantly getting your attention and they have other people talking about them. That's really all there is to it, from what I can tell. And you can be famous in different markets, and it's easier to get famous in other ones. I'd say business is probably an easier one to carve out some sort of niche for yourself than like entertainment because, well, I don't know how to play any instruments. I know I can learn, and I can't hold a note currently. I like to think I can, but I don't think I've ever been complimented on my singing voice. So I'm going to stick with what I'm good at for now, and that's working on the internet business. Now, that doesn't mean that I wouldn't do those things at some point and learn more about it, because it's something that seems kind of cool and interesting to me. But, you know, it's not like, oh, I have to do that. That's my main goal in life. It'd be more of a hobby, I would think, if I ever did anything like that. And I don't know if I really would, because what's the point? Yeah, I might have a little fun, but it's going to cost a lot of money and a lot of time getting to that level. And then if I actually did get known, or enough people knew that's what I did, they'd want me to do stuff all the time for it, and it would detract from building my business. That's something I'm really passionate about, and I really like that because this is, you know, kind of my baby in a way. And I've been doing this for a long time, learning a lot about it. Other ways to get to know JV partners is looking, you know, going on their website. They might list some stuff. I know Jeff Mills has a website called whoisjeffmills.com, and he talks about himself and his family and things he's done, talking about him being a pastor, a bunch of different things, and that's really helped him create a lot of rapport with people. I know there's people that have looked up like a Christian marketer or things like that, and they've come to him and purchased products from him just because of that, because he's talked about things like that, or a marketer with kids, stuff like that, and people have bought the products just based on those points, and that really, you know, seems to help him out and gets him people that come to his seminars and buy expensive products from him for it. So, you know, whatever you can do to help. And then another thing I use are Facebook. I have a joint venture group on Facebook. Currently has over 400 members. And Facebook, people put in all sorts of information. You know, people, if you go on my Facebook, you know the type of music I like, the type of movies I like, other interests, things I do. You have a bunch of pictures of me, probably some blackmail material. You know who my girlfriend is, you know, various things I do, other friends of mine. And as I do this, I think I have like 700 or 800 friends on there, so you might be able to connect with some of those people, get to know me through them. You know, a lot of people put a lot of information on there, and you can learn a lot.
Yeah, and one thing you really haven't mentioned too much, you briefly mentioned the meetup, but you've been to a lot of events and stuff.
That's a great way to get to know people. I didn't really start making real money online until I went to events. I went to, you know, event after event, and each one snowballs into more stuff. I haven't been to an event for a while besides my own. Yeah. I should probably go to one. I'm speaking at one next weekend, but I should probably go to another one of these days, because it gives, every time I go, it gives me more business.
Yeah, one other thing about events that's really cool is that you've actually done some interviews at events, and those have turned into products. So if you are still struggling for a product idea, think about going to an event, bring your video camera along, and see if you can't set up an interview with someone.
Yeah, you could do something just like this. A lot of the so-called experts or gurus are very open to that because they know it's going to help them make more money in the long term. They're going to get a copy of it themselves. They can use it. It could turn into a product. You might be someone who's bought a lot of products from them. They don't know. I mean, there's people that I recognize at events that I see that have bought a lot of products through me. It's like, oh, that person buys a lot of my stuff.
Yeah.
You know? and I get to know them, and I recognize your name, you know, and, you know, stuff like that, and it makes them feel good, you know, and oftentimes they come up to me and they're like, hey, I've been on your list for a while, and I really like what you do, and, you know, it makes me feel good, and I get to know them a little bit, and see what I can do to help them achieve more, and then I sell it to them.
So if someone came up to you at an event, Reed, and said, I really like your sites, Reed, I think you do a great job, and I've got a video camera here, would you mind if I just gave you a video testimonial and I'll send it to you and you could use it on your website? And that way you'd end up getting associated with Reed or another person that's a little bit, you know, pretty well known in this business, and you could use it on your website too, and you could send it to the business partner that you're talking with. In a way, that's kind of like being a joint venture right there. You've already established a relationship. And I can just about guarantee you, if you send a product to that person, he's at least going to take a serious look at it. You can even send it along with the testimonial that you know.
Well, I've gotten business just by putting testimonials on other people's websites.
Yeah.
By giving people testimonials, I've gotten business because of it.
Yeah.
People have seen, hey, I saw you posted this testimonial for so-and-so, I'd really like to get to know you. You know, and they get on my list, or they become a JV partner. It's usually JV partners that do that. It's kind of a high-end marketing tactic. Not everyone does it. I've done it a little bit to do stuff, but there's a lot of people that won't do anything like that.
Well, we could talk a lot about JV partners and get into some more specifics, but I kind of wonder if that probably isn't another topic.
That really
We're
distracts
getting
from
a
this,
little
I think.
bit off the list building. But thinking of your JV partners, and you've established a list with their help, we should maybe switch and think about some of the considerations that are really specifically related to the list itself. And there's really two types of customers when you think about it. There's those that have purchased a product from you, and those that have received a free sample. You talked about those giveaways and stuff. Mm-hmm. So you have both of those customers on your list. And I guess to me it seems that preferentially I'd rather have someone on my list that had bought from me in the past, that I would think they would be more likely to purchase something again than rather than someone on a giveaway. Would you say that's true?
I'd say a customer list is worth more than a giveaway list.
Sure.
But a giveaway, like having freebie people on your site, is easier to build.
Okay. But that doesn't mean that you don't really want names on your list that came from a giveaway, because those names are valuable too, right?
Yeah, I do both. You know,
Yeah.
I have, every once in a while I'll promote a giveaway to build my list. I usually don't. I prefer to do my own than promote someone else's giveaway, just because I know how many subscribers the giveaway owner gets.
Yeah.
I don't. No, I think I maybe had one giveaway that did less than 3,000 subscribers, but they've all been like 3,000 to 5,000 or so giveaways that I own the list.
Yeah. And one thing to think about on these giveaways, if I understand them correctly, is you do give away a product, but that's the front end product. And there's also often a back end product where people are invited to purchase something. Isn't that correct on how it works?
Yeah, there's usually, you're getting, you know, if you're participating in a giveaway, you're donating a product, so people are going to sign up to your list. You're also promoting that to your list, and you're going to, you might make some one-time offer sales. So you might make some money promoting it off the bat. Usually you can also have a one-time offer after they sign up for your freebie too. I've made some sales that way.
Okay.
So there's a couple places that you can make money right away, plus they're getting on your list.
Yeah, and that's a quick way you can convert a giveaway into a purchaser. They purchase a product almost immediately, which is really a nice bonus of the giveaway. So I guess I would say if you see a giveaway and you have a product, and frankly the products that you're creating at this beginning stage, there's a better chance they might be well suited to a giveaway. Then you're not going to be building $1,000 product right off the bat. More than likely, it's going to take some experience to get to that level. Think of that funnel. You kind of have to start at the top and work your way down to the bottom where it gets to the expensive products. Now, once you have a list, how do you grow it?
Well, there's really only a few places that you can make more money with your business, and that's getting more customers and getting customers to buy more often. Mm-hmm. So you want to get new customers maybe by doing joint ventures or putting out more articles, more videos, doing some pay-per-click advertising, whatever, to get people onto your list. And you want to retain them by maybe giving them out some content. You know, one thing I did is I sent out a thing on like a squeeze page software thing. I had at least 20% of my list click through and download that.
Well, that's quite amazing when you think of it, to get that kind of response.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of people wanted that free item.
And I know I worked with it, and it was really nice. And it only took you a few minutes to create it because you have some special programming skills that maybe the rest of us lack. But some of you may have some programming skills, and that would be a great product. That would be a great product to get started if you could come up with something like that.
Yeah, you could, you know, if you're... Actually, what I used a program called Make Your Own Software. It was makeyourOwnsoftware.com. It's, I think, $200. $197. I was able to create a simple product. It took me 5 to 15 minutes to create this product that is used by hundreds of people now. I just gave it away for free. I got a few testimonials out of the deal too, which, you know, I might turn this into a full-blown product at some point, or I might just not do anything with it, but I got some testimonials that I can use for my squeeze page or for my offer page for this.
And you created some great goodwill with it too.
Definitely. I know a lot of people are opening my emails now because they got that tool, and it's like, wow, you know, maybe Reed's not a scammer.
Yeah.
He actually gives real stuff that, you know, actually helped me. And I'm sure I retained a few of them that were maybe a little like, what's going on? Because I know a very small percentage of my list opens my emails. But that's how it is.
I think that's one thing that you all have to realize is that, first of all, you can't please everyone.
You shouldn't.
And there's no way that you can do it, because what makes one person happy makes another person unhappy.
I take great pride in pissing off at least one person a day.
Yeah.
I know that sounds very arrogant and cocky, but I feel that if I'm not irritating at least one person a day, it's usually Dad. You know, if I don't piss off at least one person a day, I'm not growing. Because you need to do things that are out there, a little bit controversial, things that people aren't willing to do if you want to get to the next level. And that's how I've succeeded at a young age, and that's how I know I'm going to be even more successful. Because I'm willing to take those risks. I'm not going to piss off a lot of people because that's not my goal. Well, what I mean is by doing things that some people aren't going to like, they might get a little miffed by you, but other people are going to really support you. There's people that have different beliefs than you and me. I'm not saying, you know, just taking a stupid stance on something and saying it to be stupid, but, you know, maybe saying something in a slightly different way that might irritate someone. They might not like you, they might unsubscribe. So what? You just picked up, you know, 10 more people on your list that are going to read more of your emails because that clicked with them, they understood that.
Sure.
That facet of knowledge. They like you more.
Yeah. So it's kind of a balancing act. You want to retain as many current customers as you can, and you also need to recruit new customers, because if you don't, if you just work with your current customer base, say you do some big promotion, you get 3,000 customers. If you don't keep doing more promotions to grow your list is eventually going to die out.
It's going to dwindle, because I know in the internet marketing field, it's like a lot of our lists, people have been doing this for less than 6 months. People burn out, people get out of the business opportunity thing, email addresses go dead, people lose interest. That happens. There's, you know, a lot of people that think that, oh, I signed up for something, I'm going to be rich overnight. They won't do anything for it, but they think that automatically they're going to be rich, and that irritates me to knowing that people do that. But that's how it is.
But you sold a lot of products to those people.
Definitely.
I mean, that's who your customers are, and you just have to realize that not everyone is going to buy the product that you have and become millionaires because of it, because that's not how it works. They're going to try it out and say, oh, this is more work than I thought, or I don't have the skills, or I don't want to fool with it, I'd rather go fishing, I'd rather go to bed, I'd rather read a book. Those are all excuses I've had in the past, and it wasn't until I realized how much money Reed was making that I got kind of interested in it. And I discovered that this is a heck of a lot of fun. I really enjoy it.
Well, like, you know what I do, you know, every day. Basically, I send out an email. I might respond to a couple emails I get. I might get a few phone calls, because I do operate a service business besides my list. Yeah. I do other things to make income. But a lot of my income comes from my list. And basically, I'll send out an email, and I can go out with my friends. I went to a concert last night. I'm sure I made some money while I was or 2 nights ago. I'm sure I made some money while I was there. Did my friend make any money? No. Actually, he's been unemployed for a while. Yeah. You know, that's nothing wrong with that. He, you know, just got his certification for something, so he's looking for a job. And, you know, that's all fine and dandy. But I know for sure, because of the power of my list, I'm going to make more than he would ever do working that job unless he does something to it. And he's actually interested in it. He wants to build a list and create products of his own, more in the fitness market, because that's what he knows about.
Sure.
But And that's, you know, a healthy market. People buy a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And that's probably, I would think people burn out of that even faster than internet marketing.
Oh, we all have those New Year's resolutions where we're going to get active, we're going to do something, and that's a customer you can buy, get them started, and they'll drop out, but someone else will take their place real quickly. Mm-hmm. So they do have a lot of turnover. But that's just part of the business, and realize it, that if you recruit a new customer today and have them on your list, they're not going to be on there forever. You have to keep building your list throughout. That's just the way this business operates. So how big is your list, Reed?
My list is around 10,000.
Okay, and I know what you told me you make from that, and it's a lot more than I make. In fact, for the amount of time you spend working on your list, I think I spend more time just commuting back and forth to work. And you're making
definitely.
more money.
You probably spend more time in one day traveling than what I do doing with my list.
Okay, well I have a 3-hour commute, so that gives you an idea.
I usually cut and paste my emails. Okay. There are a few emails I write, but usually it's a cut and paste from someone else who's written an email for me. And that's like 2 minutes.
And that's one of the secrets that when we talk about joint ventures, how to get your item promoted by other joint ventures, and one of the keys is make it easy for them.
Yeah, definitely make it easy for them.
And we already mentioned that you kind of started building the list about 14 months ago.
Yeah, I think it was around October.
Already up to $10,000, so basically about $10,000 a month.
Give or take. I mean, there's some months, it's not every month that I do that, and my list has been steadily growing. I recently have done some stuff to bring my list up to that. I did some things wrong. Here's one thing I did wrong. I did a few giveaways. I'd have a much bigger list. I'd probably have a list of around 20 or 30,000 by now. I had a few giveaways that I did, but I did something with my autoresponder and I set it up wrong, and the leads weren't actually they weren't able to confirm their email address. The domain name was wrong, or something was wrong with it, and they clicked the confirm link and it didn't do anything. So I lost out on a lot of potential. You know, I'd probably be making twice as much money. From my list.
But that's, I think, what's different from you and a lot of other people.
Yeah, I can fret about that all day, but I don't care. With learning experience, I'm going to go further.
You can't, when you're going to have a mistake in this business, you're going to have some really bad mistakes, and you're going to think, oh, this is terrible, I could be doing so much better. And you can't let that discourage you. You've got to just keep on going, because it's new. You can't expect to get it perfect the first time every time.
I still make mistakes. The other day, you noticed that I didn't put in the name field on one of my emails.
Yeah.
And you told me about it, and I was like, oh well.
Yeah.
Nothing I can do about it. You know, I'm not going to fret about it. I don't care.
Yeah.
You know, that's a different mindset.
Yeah.
Because I would think if you did that now, you'd worry about it. I know when I was starting out, I worried about it.
Yeah.
I think you will too.
Yes.
You know, that's how it is. I'm to the point where it's like, sometimes I purposely put errors in emails. Makes me look human.
And I spend a lot of time putting this interview together, and Reed was kind of impatient with me and said, let's just do it.
Let's just do it.
Let's just do it. And now that I'm into it, I realize, we could have just done it. We both know enough to talk about it reasonably. I can ask enough good questions. I didn't have to have things so prepared out. I was very nervous about sending out any kind of letter, and I think maybe it's because I've been working for the government. You're encouraged not to make mistakes when you work for the government.
I want you to make mistakes. Make mistakes.
But when you're working in this type of business, don't spend your time over trying to get everything perfect.
You have my permission to make mistakes, Dad.
Okay, I'm going to start doing that on this. Well, anyway, but when they built the first car, it's sure had a lot of improvements since then. Everything that's built gets improved over time. And think of that.
Look at Windows.
Yeah, look at anything. Everything has been improved over time. If they waited to get it perfect, we would be living in the caves. So how do you go about growing your list?
I'd say 99% of my list has come through JV partners.
Okay, let's.
I'll do giveaways, or I'll have products that, like a free report or something, and I have people promote it, and I give those people a commission.
Yeah.
I feel that's a great way, because those people are already on someone else's list. They're receptive to signing up for stuff. They might have purchased things before. They know how the whole email marketing works, and they're open to that. Whereas advertising on like Google AdWords, I have to pay out a whole bunch of money to build up the list, or doing co-registration or something where I'm paying money to get people to sign up, or maybe I'm doing articles and I might get 1 or 2 people a day. well, it's really going to take a while before I start seeing any real results.
Yeah.
But I've done promotions where I've been able to add thousands of people in a day from one thing. I set up something, it might have taken a while to set it up. Maybe it took a month to get it going. But let's say it took a month and you built a list of just 1,000 people. That's another like $1,000 a month maybe for you. That's probably like a mortgage for a lot of people, I would think.
I think for a lot of people, $1,000 a month would help me a lot.
Definitely, you know,
it would help you. You'd like an extra
I'd take another 1,000 a month.
Yeah.
You know, there's a bunch of things. I personally, you know, there's a part of me, you know, it's Christmas buying season. There's a part of me that wants to go out and give kind of a coupon to everyone I know and be like, I'll help you get started in your own internet business. I'll buy your domain name. I'll get you your first month. I'll respond to your first month web hosting, and I'll guide you. You know, I'll give them, you know, one of my courses. These are for people who are family. You know, I'm not going to charge my family members to get going in this, but they have to do the work and actually take initiative, and that's my gift to them. I would help them create a business that might make them a couple $1,000 or more a month, depending on how much they want to put into it. That's something I'm considering doing instead of just buying something for like 20 or 50 bucks and giving it to them, because I'm not really helping them. I'd rather help someone. There's another part of me that looks at charities, and I see people that donate a bunch of money, and it's like, well, what if you taught them how to make more money with their charity so they could support you, help them build an asset so they could make more money. I think that's more valuable, in my opinion.
So like teaching a person how to fish rather than giving them a fish.
Definitely, but there's a lot of people who don't like that. Well, that's too bad.
Well, again, you can't please everyone, so you should go ahead and try that. Now, what happens to your list size? I guess we talked a little bit about this. If you don't attempt to grow it, it just kind of drops off down.
It'll dwindle a little bit.
Yeah.
I wouldn't really worry about it. I like when people unsubscribe.
Yeah.
That means I'm doing something right. I used to worry about it. I'm like, oh man, look at all these email removal requests. People hate me.
Yeah.
But then it's like, oh wait, I sent out that email. I made a few $100.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have made that otherwise. So, oh well.
Well, no one will unsubscribe from your list if you never send out a message, but you won't earn any money either.
Yeah,
so,
you're in the business of making money.
Yeah. So if you want to make money from your list, you do have to send out emails, and every email you send out is an opportunity for someone to reject you. They just have to click that link at the bottom and
it's nothing
unsubscribe.
Personal.
It doesn't mean a thing.
I'd say almost all rejection, either if it's something with business or something with a girl, it's something to do with them, not you.
Yeah.
And you'd agree with that too. I mean,
absolutely.
You know, if a girl turns me down for me asking her out, she might be busy that day. She might have a boyfriend. She might be engaged. There might be something going on. Maybe she's not into guys. You know, there's a lot of things out there. There's a lot of different aspects. Same thing with a business. Maybe they're losing interest in it. Maybe they don't check that email anymore. Maybe they've got too many emails coming in. You know, just a lot of different things that they don't want to take action. They don't want to do anything, so they'll unsubscribe.
I want to talk a little bit about the survey you sent out to your list, and they had some questions about list building, and most of them had really quite specific questions that had to do with building the list, and we tried to talk about that in this first part of the interview. But I'd kind of like to take a look now at some of the other questions that really didn't fit into the building part, and I thought they were quite interesting. And this first one was, what is the right way to get started? Should you join a group like a site like AdLand Pro, a safe list? Or just add your friends and family to your list? And I think you've probably already answered that.
Well, you know, you can get friends and family if you really want. I know I have a few friends and family that are on my list.
I'm on it.
I don't think I've ever seen them purchase anything,
Right,
but they're on it. There's a lot of people that aren't. I know I've been doing stuff online when I was back in high school. I know a lot of my friends signed up for stuff on my website. And they were checking stuff out because it was well known. Everyone in school knew I had a website because I